and thank you for joining me this evening. This is the Wednesday webinar for ICANN, and we're going to go ahead and discuss what happens after FAFSA. And we're going to definitely make sure that we touch base on verification and special circumstances. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with ICANN, we're an Iowa nonprofit with a mission to empower Iowans to find success in career, college, and life. We offer advising sessions and presentations like this one to help with our mission. You can schedule appointments, sign up for future webinars and events on our website, icansucceed.org. Now, before I go ahead and jump into the topic this evening, I do want to go ahead and just touch base on a couple of housekeeping items. So we're going to go ahead and try to save any questions that anybody might have during this presentation for the end of the webinar. So you can either hold those and then type them into the chat box at the end of the webinar this evening, and I'll do my best to address those. Or if you are watching me live on Facebook, you can use the comment session as well. Now, we do record these presentations for future use as well. So if you happen to be watching this presentation in a pre-recorded format and you end up having some questions, you can always go ahead and reach out to us as well. Again, our website is icansucceed.org, or you can go ahead and give our main phone number a call. That's 877-272-4692. So this webinar this evening is going to discuss some information on what happens after the FAFSA is filed. If you filed the 24-24 FAFSA already this year, congratulations. If you've not filed your FAFSA already, you can complete the online application at www.studentaid.gov. And if you'd like assistance filing your FAFSA, or if you even just have a few questions, just know you can always schedule an appointment with an ICANN advisor. We have the schedule an appointment link right on our main page. So again, that's icansucceed.org. Remember, every academic year you plan on enrolling in college, you'll need to file a FAFSA application. Normally, the FAFSA application opens in October for the following or the next academic year. The 24-25 FAFSA opened in December 2023 due to the new FAFSA updates. The FAFSA for 24-25 is known as the Better FAFSA. So let's go ahead and jump into what we're going to be discussing this evening. So we're going to go ahead and talk about FAFSA submission summaries, verification and special circumstances. We're even going to touch base just a little bit on reviewing and comparing financial aid offers and scholarships. So the FAFSA submission summary, the first one on that list. I do want to go ahead and just address right away before we start jumping in too much of the topic. The 24-25 FAFSA, because it is a new form, does have some delayed processing. So currently the U.S. Department of Education plans on processing any submitted 24-25 FAFSA applications during the first half of March. So if you've already filed the FAFSA or plan to file the FAFSA before March, your FAFSA application will process through in that first part of March. Now, this was originally scheduled to take place at the end of January, so barring no more pushbacks, the beginning of March is when all of those in review FAFSA forms will go ahead and process through. Now, with that processing, that means that students are going to go ahead and start receiving their FAFSA submission summaries. We are hoping that anybody who files in March or late March or after that, the FAFSA submission summaries will come at that standard processing rate, which is usually 3 to 5 business days. So what is the FAFSA submission summary? So the Department of Ed begins sending FAFSA information and processing notifications to students via email after their FAFSA form is successfully processed. The FAFSA submission summary will contain the eligibility overview, the FAFSA form answers that the students provided on their FAFSA form, school information, and next steps. So the information that's going to be in that eligibility area is going to have the student aid index number, the federal Pell estimate, federal direct loan estimate, and maybe even touch base on some work study information. The FAFSA form answer section, just as I said, will provide information that was already provided on that student's 24-25 FAFSA. The school information will show the colleges and universities that was listed on that application. Now, it will also not only list the schools that the student put on that portion of their FAFSA form, but it will also provide some information about those schools. It would have the graduation rate, the retention rate, the transfer rate, and more. The next step section is going to list information that the U.S. Department of Ed thinks that's going to be very important for the student applicant to know. They may have information that needs to be followed up on or possible corrections that the student's going to want to go ahead and look at. So it's going to be very important that the student, when they receive those FAFSA submission summaries, reviews all of that information. So the eligibility section on the FAFSA form, what is that SAI index number that I had touched base on? So the SAI, or the student aid index, is an index number that's received by putting together or putting in the form information into the SAI equation. So all of the information that the students enter in on their FAFSA form is used to contribute or put together that SAI index number. So colleges or even career schools are going to use the information to determine how much financial aid, or to help determine how much financial aid that the student may be eligible for. The SAI can be as low as a negative 1,500, but just remember, this is not an indication of how much the applicant will end up paying for that year of school. If you're interested in receiving more information on the SAI, or if you want to research more information on that SAI, you can go ahead and get that on the studentaid.gov website. If you would like to go ahead and check out the SAI estimator, that is also on the studentaid.gov website as well. So reviewing those FAFSA submission summaries are very important. If there are no actions needed, and if all of the information looks correct when the student reviews that information, they're going to want to go ahead and keep a copy of that for their records. And if they don't need to make any and if they do need to make some corrections, if they did notice an error, they're going to be able to do that electronically on that studentaid.gov website. So corrections and adding college codes on the FAFSA form cannot be done until after the FAFSA form is processed. So let's go ahead and start talking a little bit about the process of verification. So some students will be selected for verification. Verification is a process that is basically just a request to verify the data entered on the FAFSA form. The verification or the request for the documents will come from the colleges or college that the student has put on their FAFSA form. Verification can include verifying income, tax information, dependency information. If the student is selected for verification, The verification needs to be completed before a financial aid can be issued from the college. Students will be notified by the college or the university if they've been selected for verification. So paying attention to your email and making sure that you're checking any information or needed information in that email is going to be very important. You're going to, if you are selected for verification, want to make sure that you read those emails thoroughly. The college will let you know what documents are needed and in what matter they would like you to send that information to them. Typically, in the past, I have seen students that are selected for verification need to provide a verification worksheet, maybe even just a simple signature page, a family size form, or sometimes copies of their tax return or tax transcripts. So besides for verification, another important topic that I want to go ahead and address is called special circumstances. So when parent and student contributors complete the 24-25 FAFSA, they provide 2022 tax information and current asset information. If the information that they used or they provided on their FAFSA form does not accurately portray their current financial situation, they may need to talk to the college's financial aid office about special circumstances. The financial aid administrator will go ahead and review the request from that student in terms of the special circumstance. So just know this is not reported on the FAFSA. The FAFSA asks for very specific information. So they're going to want, or students are going to want to wait until they know the college has their FAFSA information. And then they're going to want to go ahead and report to the college that they may have a special circumstance. The college will collect documentation to help prove that special circumstance. Now, the financial aid administrator can approve or deny the special circumstance request. If they do approve that request, they can then make data element adjustments, which could adjust eligibility. It's not a guarantee that any special circumstance review is going to be approved. Now, some great examples of why students or parents may want to go ahead and discuss special circumstances with a financial aid office would be for instances like a loss of employment or financial assets, reduction in income, unusual medical or dental expenses not covered by insurance. So financial aid offers are sent to students from the colleges and universities that they've been accepted to and that the colleges have received their information, their FAFSA information. Colleges will begin to receive the 24-25 FAFSA information after they begin processing in the first half of March. It's important for students to check all forms of contact that they have with the colleges because offers or verification requests are often sent by school email or even to college portals. So students will need to review and respond. Again, it's very important that students check all forms of contact that they have for their specific colleges and universities that they're interested in. So each financial aid offer is subject to change and the student does need to make sure that they stay eligible. So if students have questions on eligibility requirements, they're going to want to make sure that they follow up with their advisor or their financial aid office. So a financial aid offer can have two types of financial aid: gift aid and self-help aid. So gift aid would be forms of financial aid that students do not need to pay back. These are grants and scholarships. Now, grants and scholarships can be merit-based and need-based. The self-help aid would be items such as work study and, of course, loans. So when a student receives an offer, they are going to be provided with some cost of attendance information, as well as some financial aid types that the student may be eligible for. So reviewing that is going to be very important. And in order to review a financial aid offer, students will need to understand the difference between direct costs and indirect costs. So remember, direct costs are things such as tuition and fees, housing and food. Indirect costs would be things such as books and supplies, transportation, and of course, those personal expenses. When comparing college financial aid offers, it's most helpful to begin by looking at the bottom line. So, what are the direct costs? What are the direct costs you must pay to attend? Then look at the free money or that gift aid, the items that don't need to be paid back, such as grants and scholarships. Once you subtract those two, you will come up with what's known as the remaining costs. That is what is left over or what is needed yet in order to attend the college or the university that you're interested in. Even with financial aid, students may have college expenses that they can't cover with savings, earnings, or even parent contributions in the mix. So in that case, students are definitely going to want to go ahead and maybe think of how they can go ahead and get this to be something that's affordable for them. Maybe they might want to look at a less expensive school, pick up an additional job to help pay that balance. You can always talk to colleges about possible payment plans throughout the year. And then, of course, there are some loan options, and students can do a combination of the above. Student loans are a form of financial aid that must be repaid back. Must be paid back. Loans can be helpful and a sometimes necessary source of financial aid. Students need to remember to borrow wisely. Now, just a couple reminders as we wind down and we go to that Q&A section, but students need to finalize financial aid offers. Financial aid offers are sent to the student from the colleges. So make sure that you are signing and returning those offers. And make sure if you do need to set up payment plans that you talk to the financial aid office or even the business office early. And if you do end up needing to take out loans, just know that there will be some follow-up paperwork to that as well. It will be your master promissory note and entrance counseling that's required. Now, we do have a lot of information on our website, including some webinars and some informations on items such as reviewing financial aid offers, understanding the financial aid process, and understanding the different types of aid. So if you guys need any additional information on these items, please know you can access our videos at icansucceed.org/videos. If there is a student that is interested in maybe taking out some loan funding and they're wondering what would be a reasonable amount for them based on their starting salary, you can always go ahead and utilize the college funding forecaster tool. That's iowastudentloan.org/forecaster. Remember, when filing the FAFSA each year, you want to file before your college's priority deadline. We have information regarding the priority deadlines in our Understanding the Financial Aid booklet that's on our website. And you're also going to want to make sure that your institution's not needing additional information from you besides for the FAFSA when it comes to institution aid. So make sure you know your priority dates and your deadlines, and make sure you're talking with your admissions representatives and your financial aid offices if you have questions. Now, in terms of scholarships, they're open now, or I should say some of them are open now. Make sure you're talking to your high school counselor about scholarships, and make sure you're paying attention to the information that they're sending out. If you'd like additional information on scholarships, you can learn more at icansucceed.org/scholarships. Some scholarships are open now and have deadlines. You cannot be awarded a scholarship if you don't apply. So please remember, there are a lot of places for help. Talk to your school counselor. Your college admissions and financial aid offices are there for you. And then, of course, we are always happy to help. Our 877 number is there for you, as well as our website. If you go to our website, you're going to be able to go ahead and sign up or follow us on any of our social media platforms. Thank you for watching this ICANN Wednesday webinar. And remember, if you have any questions or concerns, you can contact us directly. Thank you so much. Now, I am going to go ahead and open up that chat box for any questions that anybody might have.